Commander Alec Hayes sat quietly in the pilot's chair of the UN CNEX, his eyes scanning the vast starfield outside the cockpit. The ship hummed softly, a steady sound that always helped calm him during long missions. This was just another scouting trip to a distant planet in the Epsilon system, a place thought to be empty, but still worth checking for signs of life or ancient technology. The planet below was covered in thick green forests and strange blue rivers that glowed faintly in the light of its twin suns. Alec's ship moved slowly into orbit, sensors ready to gather data. It was peaceful. Too peaceful. Suddenly, the calm was shattered. A sharp, violent shock rocked the CNEX. Alarms blared, red lights flashing urgently in the cockpit. Alec's heart jumped. The ship had been hit by something old but powerful. "System damage, shields failing," the ship's AI announced in a calm voice. But Alec knew the situation was serious. The ship shuddered again. Then a loud explosion echoed through the hull. The main engine sputtered and died. Alec's fingers moved quickly over the controls, trying to stabilize the ship, but it was no use. The CNEX was falling fast. He gritted his teeth and activated the emergency landing protocols. The planet's surface rushed toward him, trees, rocks, and ancient ruins covered in vines. Alec had no choice but to prepare for a crash landing. The ship slammed into the ground, rolling and crashing through the forest. Finally, it came to a stop near the edge of a wide clearing surrounded by towering trees. Alec was shaken but alive. He took a deep breath and looked out. The ruins stretched before him. Tall stone pillars and broken walls covered in strange symbols glowing faintly in the twilight. Alec had never seen anything like this before. As he stepped out of the damaged ship, the air was thick and warm. The jungle sounds filled his ears, distant bird calls, the rustle of leaves, and something else, a soft whisper carried by the wind. Alec's heart quickened. He was not alone. He scanned the area with his handheld scanner. It picked up faint traces of movement, something alive, but hiding. He moved cautiously toward the ruins. The closer he got, the stronger the feeling grew. It was as if the jungle itself was watching him, waiting. Suddenly, a voice spoke, soft and clear, yet strange in tone. "Alec." He froze. The voice was a woman's, and it was calling his name. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice steady but curious. From the mist among the ruins, a figure appeared. She was tall and slender, with silver skin that shimmered softly in the fading light. Her eyes glowed a deep blue, full of sadness and something else. Hope. "I thought we'd never meet again," she whispered, stepping closer. Alec blinked, confused. "Who are you? How do you know me?" She looked at him with a gentle smile. "I am Scifi. We have met before, long ago, when the stars were young and the war was not yet forgotten." Alec shook his head. "I don't understand. I don't know you. I've never been here before." Scifi's smile faded. "Time is not as simple as you think. You are more than the man standing here now." Alec felt a chill. "What do you mean?" She reached into a pouch at her side and pulled out a small glowing object, a piece of metal with strange markings. Alec's breath caught as he saw the name engraved on it. Commander Alec Thorne. That was his name, almost exactly. But Alec Hayes was his real name. "Where did you find this?" he asked, turning the object over in his hands. "Buried beneath these ruins. It belonged to you. Long ago." Alec's mind raced. How could this be? The ruins were ancient, far older than any human space mission. The name had been lost to time. Solari's voice grew urgent. "There was a war between us and the Shroud. You were a hero once, Alec. You led the alliance of humans and Therine, my people. But that was before the darkness took everything." Alec's eyes narrowed. "The Shroud? They are coming again," she said quietly. "And we need you." Alec looked at the ruins. at the strange symbols glowing faintly in the night, and then back at Scifi. For a moment he doubted everything he believed about himself and his mission, but something inside him stirred. A memory he couldn't explain, a feeling of purpose that ran deeper than fear. He nodded slowly. "All right, Scifi. Tell me everything. I'm listening." The jungle around them seemed to grow still, as if the planet itself was holding its breath. Together, they walked toward the heart of the ruins, toward a past long forgotten and a future that might yet be saved. The night was deep and still as Alec followed Scifi into the heart of the ruins. The soft glow from her silver skin lit their path, casting strange shadows across the ancient stones covered with glowing symbols. The jungle around them seemed to hold its breath, as if it was listening to their footsteps. Alec kept his hand near his sidearm, but he trusted Scifi, for now. She had saved him from the crash, and her voice carried a calm he could not ignore. Still, he needed answers. "Who are you, really?" Alec asked, breaking the silence. "And how do you know so much about me, about the war?" Scifi's eyes held a distant sadness. "I am one of the last of my people, the Therine. We were allies with humans long ago. You called yourself Alec Thorne then. You were a great commander." Alec shook his head. "I'm Alec Hayes. I've never heard of this war or this name before." Scifi sighed softly. "Time has a way of hiding the truth. What you know is only a shadow of what once was. The war with the Shroud changed everything. It took away your past and nearly ended both our peoples." Alec's mind raced. He had heard stories of old wars between humans and alien races, but nothing so ancient or personal. He looked at the ruins around them, feeling their weight like a heavy secret. "Tell me everything," he said finally. "Start from the beginning." Scifi nodded and settled on a smooth stone. Alec sat beside her, and she began her story in a voice both gentle and strong. "Thousands of years ago, before your people reached the stars, the Therine were already spread across many worlds. We were explorers and protectors of the ancient knowledge. Then the Shroud appeared, a race born from darkness, feeding on light and life. They destroyed many worlds." Alec listened closely, his thoughts trying to catch every word. "At that time, humans were rising in the stars too. We met on a distant planet and formed an alliance. You, Alec Thorne, led human forces alongside us. Together, we fought to stop the Shroud." Scifi's eyes brightened with memory. "You were brave and clever. You carried hope where others saw only fear." Alec looked at her in disbelief. "How is that possible? I don't remember any of this. My life started on Earth just like everyone else's." She reached out and touched his hand. Her skin was cool but alive. "You were more than just a man. You were part of a secret project, ancient technology that preserved your mind and body to be reborn when the time came. You are a legacy of that war." The words settled heavily on Alec's shoulders. A legacy he did not understand, yet somehow felt within him. "But why now?" he asked. "Why did you wait here all this time?" "The Shroud was thought defeated, sealed away by our combined forces, but their darkness never truly left. It is waking again, stronger than before. I stayed to guard this place, hoping the one who could stop them would return." Alec stared at the ruins, feeling the weight of centuries on his chest. The glowing symbols seemed to pulse with life, like the heartbeat of a forgotten world. Suddenly, Scifi stood and moved to a tall pillar carved with strange writing. "This place was once a great Therine city," she said. "Now it is a memory, but the secrets it holds are alive." She pressed her hand against the stone, and the glowing symbols shifted, revealing a map of stars, some familiar, some unknown. "The Shroud are coming through this region of space," she said. "If they reach Earth or the human colonies, it will mean the end of all we know." Alec nodded, feeling a rush of determination. "Then we have to warn them. I'll take you back to the Cinex." Scifi shook her head. "Not yet. There is something you must see first." From a hidden panel in the ruins, she pulled out a small device, ancient but still glowing with power. She handed it to Alec. This is a data core from our Alliance's last stand. It holds memories and plans. It may help you remember who you are. Alec took the core carefully. He felt a strange connection to it, as if it was calling to him. "Can this really help me remember?" he asked. Scifi nodded. "It is more than memory. It carries your past and the hope of our future." A sudden noise broke the quiet, a soft rustling in the trees. Both Alec and Scifi turned sharply, eyes searching the darkness. From the shadows emerged a small group of creatures, alien scouts, tall and thin with glowing eyes. They stopped at the edge of the clearing, watching them silently. Alec's hand went to his weapon, but Scifi raised a calming hand. "They are friends," she said quietly. "Come with me." The scouts stepped forward, their movements graceful. One of them handed Scifi a crystal device, and she smiled. "It's a warning," she said. "The Shroud's forces are moving faster than we expected." Alec felt a chill. Time was running out. "Then we must leave," he said firmly. "We need to get back to the ship and prepare." Scifi nodded, but before they moved, she looked at Alec with something like hope in her eyes. "I thought we'd never meet again," she whispered softly. Alec met her gaze. "Neither did I. But here we are." Together, they turned toward the ship, knowing that their reunion was only the beginning of a long fight ahead. Alec and Scifi moved quickly through the thick jungle toward the wrecked Senax. The sounds of the alien scouts faded behind them, but Alec's mind was filled with questions he could not yet answer. "How did I become this legacy?" Alec asked, breaking the silence as they neared the ship. Scifi's eyes were steady as she answered, "Long ago during the war with the Shroud, your people created a secret project. They captured the minds and skills of great leaders to be reborn in times of great danger. You, Alec Thorne, were the greatest of them." Alec shook his head slowly. "It feels impossible. I remember Earth, my training, my crew, but none of this ancient war or being reborn." "Memory fades," Scifi said softly. "But the core I gave you holds your past, your true self. It can awaken what is buried deep inside." They reached the broken ship, its hull scorched and twisted from the crash. Inside, the dim lights flickered. Alec took out the data core and connected it to the ship's console. A soft hum filled the cabin, and images began to glow on the screen. Alec saw flashes of battles in space, ships firing glowing weapons, explosions lighting the void. He saw a younger version of himself, clad in armor, commanding fleets alongside alien allies. There were faces he did not know, names he could barely pronounce, and a terrible enemy that looked like shadows made real. The Shroud. The images showed worlds burned to ash, families lost, and desperate fights in star systems long forgotten. Alec's heart pounded as memories touched the edges of his mind, memories he had never known he had. "This is who you were," Scifi said, "and who you can be again. The Shroud were defeated once, but they are not gone. They wait in the EU. Darkness ready to return." Alec looked away, feeling the weight of centuries pressing on him. "Why me? Why bring me back now?" Scifi stepped closer. "Because the war is starting again. We need you to lead, not just as a soldier, but as a symbol, a bridge between humans and Tharine." He clenched his fists. "I don't know if I'm ready." "None of us are," she replied. "But you are the key. Your knowledge, your courage. It's what will save us." Alec nodded slowly. "Then we have work to do." The ship's AI flickered to life. Commander Hayes' external sensors detect unusual activity in the nearby star systems. Alec looked at Scifi. "The Shroud are already moving." "We must warn the human colonies," she said urgently. As they prepared the ship for takeoff, Scifi explained more about the alliance between their peoples. Humans and Tharine had once shared technology, culture, and dreams of peace. Together, they had built great fleets to keep the galaxy safe. But after the war, fear and distrust had grown. The memory of the Shroud faded, and old alliances broke. Humans spread out across the stars, many forgetting their past. Alec felt a deep sadness. We lost so much. Yes, Scifi agreed. But not all is lost. You have the chance to bring us back together. The ship's engines roared to life and the Senax rose from the jungle clearing. As they left the planet's atmosphere, Alec looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, old friends and enemies waited. His journey was just beginning. The Senax sailed smoothly through space, stars streaking past the windows like shimmering lines. Alec sat in the command chair, feeling the weight of the past and future pressing on him. Scifi stood beside the navigation console, her glowing skin casting a soft light across the room. Suddenly, the ship's AI spoke in its calm, even voice. Commander Hayes, I have detected an activation in the ship's main systems. Unknown protocol initiated. Senax. Alec's eyes narrowed. Senax protocol? What is that? Scifi's expression changed. It is a hidden program created by your former self, Commander Alec Thorne. It was designed as a failsafe in case the threat of the Shroud ever returned. Alec stared at the console as strange symbols and codes flashed across the screen. The ship hummed louder, and a holographic map appeared in front of him. It showed distant star systems, some marked in red, others glowing with blue light. The AI continued. Protocol Senax reveals secret locations and activates dormant fleets hidden across the galaxy. These fleets are equipped to fight the Shroud. Scifi nodded. This is the last hope from the past. Your ancestors prepared for this day, but they needed a leader to bring it all together. That leader is you. Alec took a deep breath. So, these fleets? They're real? Yes, she said, but scattered and forgotten. We must find them and unite the forces before the Shroud attacks. The holographic map zoomed in on a cluster of star systems deep in the outer rim, far from Earth and the known human colonies. This is where the fleet's stasis pods are located, Scifi explained. Ships and crews waiting for the call to wake. Alec leaned forward. Then we have to go there. We don't have time to waste. The ship's engines glowed brighter as the Senax changed course toward the secret fleet. The AI continued to unlock data from the protocol, revealing more about the ancient alliance and the technology shared between humans and Tharine. As the hours passed, Scifi shared stories of the war, how humans and Tharine fought side by side, how hope was nearly lost and how the Shroud's dark power nearly consumed everything. Alec listened, feeling a growing fire inside him. He understood now that this was not just a mission, it was a calling. Suddenly the ship shook. Warning lights flashed as sensors picked up a fast-moving object approaching. Unknown vessel incoming, the AI warned. It is not responding to hails. Alec grabbed the controls and activated the ship's defense systems. A sleek, shadowy ship appeared on the scanners, its design strange and unlike any human or Tharine craft. Scifi's eyes widened. The Shroud's scouts. They are here, Alec steadied himself. Prepare to engage. We can't let them follow us to the fleet. The battle was quick but intense. The Senax fired pulses of energy, dodging enemy strikes with skill and speed. Scifi coordinated with the AI, guiding Alec through the attack. Finally, the enemy ship broke away, disappearing into the stars. Breathing hard, Alec looked at Scifi. That was close. She smiled faintly. It will only get harder. But we are ready. As the Senax continued toward the hidden fleet, Alec realized something important. This was more than a fight for survival. It was a chance to reunite old allies and remind humanity of its true strength. He stood and looked out the window, watching the distant stars shine brightly. We will face the darkness, he said quietly. Together. Scifi stepped beside him, her hand brushing his. And we will win. Because hope never dies. The Senax sped onward, carrying the last hope of a forgotten war, and the future of two peoples united against a shadow that threatened all life. The Senax moved swiftly through space, its engines glowing softly as it headed toward the coordinates, revealed by the Senax protocol. Alec sat at the helm, his eyes fixed on the stars outside. but his mind raced with questions. Scifi stood beside him, calm and steady, her silver skin shimmering faintly in the ship's soft lights. They were heading to a hidden fleet, ancient ships and crews preserved in stasis pods waiting for the day they would be needed again. Alec had never imagined he would see them, let alone command them. As they approached the distant star system, sensors began to pick up faint energy signatures, ships covered in a thin layer of cosmic dust, silent and still. "There they are," Scifi said softly. "Our last hope." Alec nodded. "Let's wake them." The X moved into the center of the fleet's resting place, a large asteroid belt scattered with the silent ships. Using the ship's systems, Alec activated the stasis pod controls. Slowly, one by one, the pods began to open, releasing their crews. The humans and Therine inside were weak and disoriented but alive. They looked around with wide eyes, confused by the centuries they had slept. Alec stepped forward, raising his voice to be heard. "You have been asleep for a long time. The Shroud are returning. We need to fight. Together." Some of the crews murmured, others nodded, but many were afraid. They had been frozen in time, their memories foggy and their purpose lost. Alec understood. "I know this is hard. I don't remember everything either. But this war is real. We must stand together again." Scifi moved among the crews, offering comfort and explanations. The alliance between humans and Therine was broken, but it can be rebuilt. We have to believe in each other. Slowly, the fleets began to prepare. The ships powered up, systems humming back to life. The ancient weapons and shields flickered on, glowing with renewed energy. But the galaxy had changed. News of the awakening fleet spread quickly. Not all colonies welcomed the return of these ancient warriors. Some saw them as relics from a past they wanted to forget. Others feared the war would bring destruction to their peaceful lives. Alec received messages from colony leaders. Some offered support, others sent warnings. He realized that reuniting the fleets was only the first step. He would have to unite a fractured humanity. One message caught his attention, a request for a meeting with the High Council on Earth. They wanted to know if the threat of the Shroud was real, or just a ghost story. Alec accepted the invitation. "We need to show them the truth," he said. Scifi nodded. "And remind them what we are capable of." As the X prepared to leave the hidden fleet, Alec stood on the bridge, looking out at the ships now awake and ready. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. Scifi smiled. "Among the stars, we will find our way again." The X set course for Earth, carrying hope, old warriors, and the promise of a new alliance. The X cut through the cold darkness of space, carrying Alec, Scifi, and the awakened fleet toward Earth. The stars outside were silent witnesses to a gathering storm. The old human colonies buzzed with news of the returning ships, sparking hope and fear alike. Alec sat in the command chair, staring at the holographic map of the galaxy. The red markers showed regions where the Shroud's influence had been detected, growing, stronger by the day. He sighed. "If we don't act fast, the Shroud will reach Earth before we're ready." Scifi stood beside him, her glowing eyes full of determination. "The Council on Earth must see the truth. We have to convince them to unite." When the X entered Earth's orbit, they were met with both awe and suspicion. The High Council's chamber was filled with leaders from many worlds, all wary of the ancient fleet and its strange alien companion. Alec stepped forward, his voice steady and clear. "The Shroud are real. They are returning to destroy everything we have built, but we have a chance to stop them, together." Some council members whispered among themselves, skeptical. One of the older leaders spoke. "You ask us to believe a story from a war long forgotten. Why should we trust you?" Alec met her gaze. "Because I am that story. I am Commander Alec Thorne, reborn to lead. The X protocol and the fleet behind me are proof. We fought the Shroud before and we can do it again." Scifi added, "The Therine stand with humanity. Our bond was broken, but not lost. The shroud threatened all life. We must unite or fall divided. Slowly, the council began to listen. Images and data from the Senex were shared, showing the shroud's attacks and the devastation left behind. The truth was undeniable. A vote was called to form a new alliance. Humans and Tharine, united once more against the dark threat, Alec, felt a surge of hope as the council agreed. The final alliance was born. The fleet moved out from Earth's orbit, ready to confront the shroud near a collapsed star where time and space twisted in strange ways. The perfect place for a final battle. Alec and Sailari prepared the crew, their resolve strong. "This is our chance," Alec said, "to protect our future and honor our past." The battle that followed was fierce. The shroud's ships moved like shadows, attacking with dark energy that bent light and time. But the alliance fought with courage and unity. Humans and Tharine worked together, their combined technology and strategy turning the tide. In the heart of the chaos, Alec piloted the Senex toward the star's core, where a temporal weapon awaited activation. This weapon, created by the original Alec Thorne, could erase the shroud from existence, but it required a great sacrifice. Sailari joined him on the bridge, her hand in his. "We face this together." Alec nodded. "For all we've lost, and all we hope to save." With steady hands, Alec activated the weapon. A brilliant light filled the ship as time itself began to ripple and fold. The shroud's ships dissolved like shadows in sunlight. But the energy was too much for one life. Alec felt his strength fading. Sailari held him close, whispering the words she had said so long ago. "I thought we'd never meet again." He smiled faintly, feeling peace. "Neither did I." As his vision blurred, Alec knew his sacrifice was not the end, but a new beginning. The shroud were gone, the alliance had won, and humanity, united with the Tharine, was ready to lead a new age among the stars. The bright light slowly faded and silence filled the bridge of the Senex. Alec's body felt light, as if he was floating between worlds. Sailari held him close, her silver skin warm against his. "I thought we'd never meet again," she whispered softly, her voice full of hope and sorrow. Alec looked into her glowing eyes and smiled faintly. "Neither did I, but here we are, around them." The stars shimmered through the ship's windows, peaceful and calm. Though Alec's strength was fading, his mind was clear. He knew the sacrifice he had made was not the end of his story. His legacy would live on, through Sailari, through the Alliance, and through all those who believed in hope. Sailari gently laid Alec back in the command chair, her hands glowing with a soft light as she began to heal him. The ancient technology and her own power worked together to slow the fading. "You will live," she promised, "not just in memory, but in life." Alec's eyes fluttered open. The pain was still there, but weaker. He felt connected to everything. The stars, the people he loved, and the future they would build. Outside, the galaxy was changing. News of the Shroud's defeat spread quickly. Systems once silent with fear now rang with cheers and celebrations. The new alliance brought hope where there had been none. Back on Earth, leaders praised Alec and Sailari's courage. Statues and stories honored the hero who had saved the galaxy, not just with weapons, but with trust and unity. The Tharine and humans rebuilt their old friendship, sharing knowledge and culture. Together they explored new worlds, learning from each other, and growing stronger. Alec and Sailari became symbols of this new age. Wherever they went, people remembered the day hope returned. One evening, as the twin suns set on a peaceful world, Alec and Sailari stood together watching the sky. "I never imagined this journey," Alec said quietly. "From a crash in a forgotten jungle to leading an alliance among the stars," Sailari smiled. "Fate has its own plans, but we faced it together." They held hands, feeling the weight of their shared past and the promise of the future. "I'm glad we met again," Alec said softly. "So am I," Sailari replied. The stars above twinkled, endless and full of possibilities, and in the heart of the galaxy, humanity's story was just beginning.